Hey, good afternoon, everybody. And I guess good morning and good evening, depending on where you're watching the show today. Welcome to a special art drop here on the Comic Art Live channel, presented by both Comic Art Live and Talent Talk. And so wanted to give you guys a little bit of a overview on how this show is going to go, since it's a very similar pattern to what we've done with other artist art drops, but different than what we've done on Dueling Dealers and a few other shows. So this won't be a claim sale where you're claiming the artwork with a standard message in the chat. That'll keep the conversation kind of focused on art and Joe and the show in general. But what you'll be doing is you'll be sending in an email direct to the Talent Talk contact address. And so let me show you, just here's a few parts to that. And I can, so you can see the contact address is going to be contact@talenttalklive.com. We prefer that in the subject you put in Linsner Art Sale, and in the body, please list the lot number for the artwork that you're going to want to purchase, as well as your name. And that gets the, so the first person who sends in their email to that address will be the person selected to purchase the artwork. The Matthias is monitoring that from Talent Talk, and he will email you when, if you are the first person who has claimed the artwork. Anyone who comes in second and later won't get a reply. So if you got the reply, you know you've got it. I'll announce on screen when the art has been claimed. So that kind of keeps everything on that side. Then they've got their contact information for you so that at the end of the show, they can get their invoices out to you. Just so you know that the art prices shown today do not include shipping and handling, and standard shipping in the US is $20 and international will be $55. If you win more than one piece of art today, it can't, you can combine on the shipping, which is a good thing. And as far as payment methods, pretty much all methods of payment are accepted except for crypto. So if you've got, they typically use Stripe, so that accepts many forms of payment, but also, they can accept PayPal and checks if that was the option that you want to go. And about an hour or so after the show, you will get an invoice for the pieces that you did purchase. And just so everybody knows, there is a commission opportunity today. It's for a single character, full color, 11 by 14 Bristol. The price will be $700 plus shipping. And Joe will have final say on whether or not he wants to do that character that you wish. So just kind of bear that in mind. He has a right to ask to do something different. But that's done by a live drawing. And I think some people have already seen how that works. And I will put that on screen just so you can see. To enter for the opportunity to get the commission, just type !enter into the chat. That will be open throughout the show. And when we complete the sale of the artwork that we're going to present, we will select the person who gets these commission opportunities. So that, again, a little bit of a wrinkle, something that we've not done in any of the shows in the past, but we felt that it would be a unique opportunity for this show. So and pardon any I guess confusion on it was calling itself a giveaway, because that's the app that I use. That was the only way for me to do a random selection. I've kind of tweaked the verbiage on it, so when you do an !enter, it does clearly state that it's for a commission opportunity and not some form of giveaway. So let's see. So let me get the man of the hour, Joe Linsner, here on the screen. Hey, Joe, how are we?
I'm doing all right, Bill. How are you?
I am fantastic. I tell you, it's been a long time. I feel like I haven't seen you in 3 or 4 years. Maybe one of the last times might have been at a San Diego Comic-Con. So
yeah. San Diego 2019 was the last time I was there.
Yeah, and that was actually the last one I went to. So yeah, it's been a long time. But yeah, I've always told people you were probably the first artist that I ever bought something direct from. So really? At a con, I can't even remember. It might have been the Hero Con, or it might have been. Where else might it have been? Probably would have been there, though. But I remember I got a Jean Grey. You're like the first person I ever asked to do a commission at a con, and it was you. So yeah, you broke the ice for me as far as getting an artist to do a piece of work for me.
So do you still have that piece?
I don't. I hate to say it. I don't own any artwork by you, which is a real drag given the fact that I've gotten to see all the artwork that you're bringing today. So
we'll have to change that. Christmas is coming up, so
that's true. We should be able to work something out, because it was. I have a sad story that we won't get into, but there was a point in time where I had to sell a lot of my art collection, and your piece went with it. Sadly,
people often like people who collect my stuff. They sometimes write me and say, "Oh, I'm sorry. My house burnt down. I need to rebuild a house. I have to sell some artwork. I'm so sorry." And I always say real life has to come first. Collecting art is just a hobby, but if you need, to pay for an operation or something like that, I totally understand when real life has to come first.
Oh yeah, I know. And mine wasn't an operation. It was a poor business decision that put me in a spot where I needed to have some extra funds, and but that's life, right? And that's the great thing about this hobby. There's usually another way to get something similar, and yeah, I mean we'll definitely work that out afterwards. Because yeah, if I could enter into the commission op pool, I would be into it as well. So, and I did just see somebody did ask about the email address again, just so I'll have it on the screen throughout the show. It will be on every slide. But if you guys want to prep an email to send, the email address is contact@talenttalklive.com. And again, subject Linsner art sale. And in the body of the email, we want you to put the lot number, because you can go back and purchase something that maybe didn't sell earlier if you want. So you're more than welcome to do that. You don't have to do it when it's on screen, but also have your name at the very least. Talent Talk will contact you after the show to invoice you and get your mailing, shipping information and everything. So you don't have to worry about including that if you're just trying to get that claim out there really quick, because you know how it is. It's when there's nice art available, you don't want to delay. So, but Joe, so since if your last show would have been probably the beginning of 2020, what have you been up to? I mean, I know that you've been doing a lot of work for published cover work, but how have you been keeping busy?
Art. I've been doing a ton of covers for Dynamite, and I love working with them because they give me a lot of freedom and they put a lot of faith in me. And I've been very happy with a lot of the new techniques I've been able to use on those covers. So that's really fun, really fulfilling. But when I'm not doing that, I've been working on the next Dawn series, Dawn #4, which at this point is going to be called Always Darkest, as in Always Darkest Before the Dawn. Mm-hmm. And that'll tie up a whole bunch of threads, which I've been planting in the first 3 Dawn graphic novels. And I wanted to have this thing out in 2019 for Dawn's 30th anniversary. But that came and went, and I wasn't ready yet. And I could have rushed it, but I figured, well, I waited this long. Let me just get it right. So I think next year, at some point, the series is going to start coming out. And if it doesn't start coming out next year, I'm going to lose my mind, because this stuff is just bubbling up inside me. Right.
Well, I mean, that's what you're best known for. And that's the thing. All the fans of your work really want to see it. And speaking of Dynamite, just before I forget, Nick Verrucci did just make a donation to the channel. So and I have to agree with Joe on this. That Joe, you are one of the nicest guys in the hobby. I mean, you're as far as I'm concerned, you are the nicest guy in the hobby. I've known you for so long, and you are. You're very humble. You've got an art style that is very appealing to a lot of collectors and sought after by publishers like Nick. So you are, you've got a wonderful reputation. That's why I'm really happy to be working with you on this today.
And Bill, you're awesome too, and a scholar and a gentleman. And overall, I just like to think my mother raised me right. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. I always say the simple things in life. Like not everyone can, save starving children in Africa or save the whales or whatever. But if you're at the post office and you see someone coming along with boxes, just hold open the door for them. That doesn't cost you anything. Or if somebody does that for you, just say thank you. Just basic courtesy. My mother hammered that into me when I was very young. So I try to, extend that to everything I do.
Well, it's the right way to be, and the same way I was brought up. So I certainly appreciate. I'm born and raised in the Midwest, and that was the philosophy pounded into me by my mother and father as well. So,
you will be kind. You will be kind. You will be kind.
And I did see a question in the chat about whether there would be time payments, and there will not be time payments. Payment will need to be done in full through Talent Talk. So just wanted to get that out there. It's not like dueling dealers where sometimes a dealer can allow on a high priced item to allow for time payments. For this show in this format, there will not be any. But yeah, See, and Michaela even brighten someone's day with a smile and a kind word. Words to live by. So you've been really busy too, though. Like you said, you've been working with Dynamite a lot, and I thought it was interesting too because the artwork that we're going to see today, a lot of it was done for Dynamite, and so I went back and looked at the published covers versus the work that's shown. And because I was curious to see how like the backgrounds were handled and the coloring was done, and so I can see what you're saying. There was you had a lot of room to kind of play and come up with what that image was going to look like versus how the actual published cover was going to end up being. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, all the breakthroughs in digital technology with artwork. You get guys like Brian Boland, who I'm pretty sure he's completely digital.
He is.
Has been for like at least 10 years, if not more.
Mm-hmm.
I could never do that because I really like working on paper, but sometimes for expediency, just like something that would take me 3 hours, if not longer, on an actual physical piece of paper, you can literally do in 15 seconds in Photoshop. So like I've always thought that the finished piece of art is actually the printed comic book.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever gets me to the printed comic book to make the final image look best, I'm all about. So I'm right now I'm straddling two worlds between being digital and being organic. In an ideal world, I would, do everything organic and have, fabulous, 4x6 oil paintings, but there's not enough time to do that. And I think, if Michelangelo was alive today, he would be using Photoshop.
To some degree, without question. I mean, and I totally get it. I mean, and like you said, Brian Boland was one of the earliest artists to kind of move down that path as far as being fully digital. A lot of collectors, lament that move, of course. But at the end of the day, you're in a business to make art, and the more art you can make, the more you can make. So, but I think it's great that you still have the traditional side of everything, that you're working on, because that's the thing that most people are drawn to. The colorful, approach that you have with the palette that you use is very unique. You could almost just pull up a color palette and say, there's like maybe two artists that might belong to, and Joe Linsner is one of them. I mean, it's just, you just have a very unique approach to the art that you do. So it's something that I've always appreciated. And again, it's almost immediately recognizable. And let's see, there was actually a question in here. Where was it? Unboxing asked, do you think you'll ever part with Cry for Dawn or Lucifer's Halo covers?
Maybe not. They might bury me with those. If I try to sell those, my wife might kill me. Christina, she's very protective of my artwork, and every now and again I'll do a cover. She's done this with a bunch of Betty Page covers, where she'll just say, "That's not leaving the house." That we're holding on to that one. And the Dawn covers, they are near and dear to me. Every line, every brushstroke was a intense labor of love. So, one of my heroes is Frank Frazetta, and the fact that Frazetta held on to so much of his stuff has been a major inspiration to me my entire life. Mm-hmm. And you get Frazetta on one hand, and then Will Eisner, I think, held on to most of his Spirit pages until he was very old. Like, did he eventually sell that stuff before he died?
I don't know if he did it before or if it was sold by the estate after. That's a good question, but you're right. He held on to it for a very long time. That the work wasn't out there for public consumption as far as purchasing and owning it for for quite a while.
And for me, there's a big difference. Like, I'll put the same amount of work into a Red Sonja cover as I will a Dawn cover, but I don't own Red Sonja. Red Sonja is just a character I love, but Dawn is mine. I own the copyrights. I own the intellectual property, so I have more invested in the Dawn art, just like Will Eisner did with the Spirit.
Well, you look at Walt Simonson. I mean, he hasn't sold. Well, he's sold a few things for charity, but by and large, he keeps everything that has been returned to him.
When they did the first artist edition of the Thor book, it blew my mind that he still had all that artwork. Because I mean, that's like some of the most lusted after comic art ever done, right? His initial run on Thor. I'm a huge Thor. I mean, Thor. It was Thor first, X-Men second for me. So yeah, I would kill for a piece of artwork by Walt. Almost anything. I'd take a commission, a con sketch at this point. But owning something that was actually published would be, a grail for me. But yeah, that's just never going to happen. They're probably going to bury that stuff with Walt. He's a great guy, by the way.
Oh yeah, without question. And there was a couple of questions in the chat too about. Well, I'm not sure if they're asking about the commission op directly, but again, the commission op for today, you have to. I can put it on the screen one more time. How to do it? Just put ! enter into the chat to be entered in to be able to buy it. It is $700, 11 by 14 full color, 1 character commission. I don't believe Joe takes commissions on the side, but. Or maybe you can answer that, Joe. I mean, do you take commission opportunities through, and if so, like through what channels would people be best to talk to you about something like that?
Usually through email. I do accept commissions when I have time in my schedule. I have a handful of outstanding commissions, and I apologize to everyone who's out there who is probably going to be watching this and want to kill me. But yeah, I take commissions when I can fit them in, and I usually draw most characters within reason. I don't like doing portraits. I've had very absurd requests over the years. People wanting me to draw their wife doing something obscene. I have no interest in doing that.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I'm not very good at likenesses. So, if somebody wants me to draw Buffy or, somebody like that, I'm not really the guy for that. But most characters within reason. Like I don't want to draw the Legion of Superheroes fighting the Justice League. That's not my thing. Get George Perez for that. He
right.
He can draw you 10,000 characters. But yeah, single character within reason. I can have a lot of fun with, and I think I do my best work when I'm having fun. When somebody gives me a commission request that sparks something in me, that. I think that results in a better piece of art.
Yeah, Samuel said his wife a bowling ball and a can of cheese. Yeah, that's probably not going to get accepted. Samuel, you might have to change that request.
Well, I've already drawn that, so
I've already done it once.
Next commission.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And the question came up again. I think Tim, you asked this originally, but there are no time payments on the pieces offered today. So Talent Talk will invoice anybody who gets to claim a piece of art after the show. So even if you claim 2, it'll be a single invoice coming out to you with the payment options, and payment will need to be done in full. So no time payments on the sale for the artwork today.
And by the way, whenever I do commissions, I usually like payment up front, just to keep things easier, just to keep the accounting straighter. And the reason I do that is back in maybe 1989, I was at a convention, and some guy had commissioned a Molecule Man. He wanted a full-color Molecule Man drawing. And I was like, Molecule Man, the villain from the Fantastic Four? And this guy's like, yeah, man, he's the most powerful character in the whole Marvel Universe, man. You can totally rearrange Galactus. He's the best. So I was like, okay, whatever. And the guy stiffed me. The guy didn't come back. So I was stuck with this drawing of Molecule Man.
That you can't sell because there's nobody on the planet who's going to want
Molecule Man. I think I eventually gave it to somebody. But ever since then, it's like, okay, let me just get my money up front. And so therefore, you have to come back for your Molecule Man drawing. And everything's easier.
After that would happen to me, I would never not require payment in full up front. So let's see. There was a question. If someone came to you and just said artist choice, they're in front of you, they got $700, they wanted a convention sketch, what would be your character if they left it up to you?
First, I would ask male or female. Would you rather see me draw Galactus or Red Sonja? I wouldn't want to disappoint someone if they were expecting something sexy and I gave them a Galactus. So yeah, right off the bat, I would say, do you want to go A or B? But from there, artist choice. I just did a Wonder Woman that is going to be for sale at the show. I love drawing Wonder Woman. I've been having fantastic fun with Red Sonja. I'm still bubbling over with ideas about her. On the male side, everyone from Galactus. I love drawing Galactus. Doctor Strange. I haven't done a good Doctor Strange in a while. Batman. I could draw Batman 7 days a week. I just love Batman so much. He is my all-time favorite comic character because I grew up loving the Adam West show. And so yeah, I would throw those ideas out there. And usually when someone says artist choice, I'll throw some ideas out there, and if I see their first face turn sour, it's like, okay, give me a little more input,
Right.
Because ultimately, I want people to be happy with, the
right.
artwork.
You got to steer them a little bit, right? I mean, at the end of the day, that's the last thing you want is to see somebody with a not very satisfied look on their face when you hand them their artwork.
Yeah, if they're expecting, like Dark Phoenix or Betty Page, and I give them a Wolverine, that even the world's best Wolverine is not the same thing as a Betty Page. So.
Right, exactly. And before we get started, one other question, Swan Shadow. Yeah, I know it's a tongue in cheek, but if they wanted a sexy Galactus, is that off limits?
No, I've done that.
You've done?
Yes, I did Galactina. I did a female Galactus, which came out pretty nice, actually. So yeah, I would do a sexy Galactus.
I'm gonna have to see if that's on Comic Art Fans. I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, I don't know.
That's interesting. Shoot. All right. Well, so there you go. That is not off limits. No, Nick, we're not. That would be off limits. Galactus with hands up. Yeah.
By the way, Nick Barucci is one of the nicest guys out there.
Oh, he is. Well, did you actually have the comments tab set on this, or you have it set to private chat?
Hey,
yeah, you should. I'm sorry, I should have asked you that beforehand, because then you can see all the comments as they're kind of flowing through here. So,
Galactus with pants off. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe for Nick, but as long as he promised that he would never show it to anyone. He could never go on Cap or social media.
A Golden Age Catwoman, that would be fun to draw.
Very much so.
So Golden Age Catwoman, is that the yellow outfit with the red cape, I think?
Yes,
red mask?
I would think that. Yeah, that would probably be the one.
I don't think I've ever drawn that. That would be cool.
All right. So
somebody wrote, "Could you pull off a sexy thing? Not in public."
No, that is very true. Oh man, when allowed will you come to the Southeast Asia for conventions? Somebody wants to know if you're ever in the. Would you ever do it?
At some point in the future, sure. I've never done a show in Asia. I'm not doing any shows right now. Probably. I'm probably going to cancel out of Baltimore because of COVID. But yeah, I'm on lockdown right now, still with the conventions. But once this COVID thing is behind us, sure, if I get an invitation.
Great. And Prince Namer is asking, I don't know if do you want to give out your email address on here?
Sure.
People want to make more requests?
My email is joelinsner, JOELINSNER @gmail.com.
Can't get any easier than that, everybody. So yeah, if you've got any commission inquiries, send those directly to Joe. All right, we've got a lot of people entering for the commission out. That's let's see what we got. 52 people already entered into it. So that'll be interesting at the end of the show when we draw who gets the opportunities. Without any other questions being out there, do you want to get this started? We can talk about each piece as we pull them up, and just so everybody knows too, everything's a lot number. So they're numbered 1 through 25, but I can tell you that lot number 6 was pulled because I think Joe actually had committed that one piece that we talked about. Joe, you emailed me last night, and I didn't have a chance to redo the slides that I put together. So we'll go from 5 to 7 in the set. So there'll be 24 total artworks available for purchase, as well as the commission opportunity.
That sounds good.
All right, and again, remember everybody, the email address, so get that email open and ready, is contact@talenttalklive.com, and just put Linsner Art Sale in the subject, and in the body of the email, let us know the lot number and your name. And if you are the first person who has their email received by our spotter from Talent Talk, you'll get an email replying, letting you know that you got it. So if multiple people do want a piece of artwork and send in 5 or 6 emails to the spotter, only the first person will get the reply. If you don't get a reply, you didn't get the art, and so we'll move on to the next piece, and you'll have another opportunity after that. So can you enter an email address in the chat? I think we did it earlier, but I can type it out one last time or here for everybody. It will always be on the screen too. Right.
Yeah, so Nick Barucci wants to see what number 6 is. the piece that
No, I
got.
actually deleted the slide totally out of it. I mean, we could show. Yeah. Do I still have?
Well, it was a cover for a book called Jengar and Shred, which was self-published by a guy named Mark May, that he did through a Kickstarter. And when I did the cover for him, I had forgotten that I promised him first rights to buy it when it came up for sale. And Christina, my lovely wife, who's more on the ball than I am, she reminded me, hey, you promised Mark the first opportunity to buy that. And so he bought it. So it had to get pulled.
There you have it. And I could show it to you, but I literally deleted it out of the whole studio and even off of my computer. I just checked, so I can't show it to you. But and they're on the screen for everybody, and it is in the chat. contact@talenttalklive.com is the email address. So just keep that handy and be ready to make these claims. And I think Nick asked earlier too. Once we get through the 24 pieces, I will show at the end. It's any pieces that didn't sell, just as a reminder. So it's always wise on a show like this to have a pen and paper handy, so you can make a few notes that hey, you're thinking about lot 2, right? Because at the end of the day, we could be on lot 20 and get to a point where you decide, if lot 2 still hadn't sold, you can email the Talent Talk email address and let them know that you want lot 2, and they'll ping me and let me know, and I'll announce that lot 2 was sold and be able to make note of that here as well, so that when we do show the art in the recap that didn't sell, I'll exclude that one. So just keep that in mind. You can pick the pieces up at any time after they've been shown on screen.
Cool. So Sean Clancy asked, he says, I'm on my iPhone watching, so can we claim in the Facebook chat instead of email?
It's got to go via email, unfortunately, Sean. I mean, because we had to make it fair one way or another, right? So that's why this isn't like a normal, like a Dueling Dealers episode where everybody is doing their claims directly in the chat. This one, it's a bit more orderly in the chat, and you have to have an email. So if you're on your iPhone, I mean, like for me, I have my Gmail set up on my phone as well. So typically, what I would suggest is having your mail app open as well as your, as well as watching it on Facebook, and then send that email direct to the contact@Talent Talk Live email address. So a little bit more difficult when you're on a phone. I would agree. I mean, that's a little bit more of a challenge. It's probably easier for people on their iPads or a desktop computer to have an email ready and ready to go to fire off to the address. So, but that is the process we are using today. And thanks for catching that, Joe.
And Wayne actually asked if I was going to be shipping the art. No, they're going to be shipped by Talent Talk.
Correct. All the art. So you can anticipate the art arriving probably within a week and a half to 2 weeks, as far as that goes, once payments received. So plan on that. It'll be sooner if it can be, but yeah, all of the art will be fulfilled by Talent Talk. They're collecting the payment as well as shipping the art. So it makes Joe's life really easy, right? I mean, at the end of the day, Joe, we don't want you packing and shipping artwork. We just want you making art.
Yes, that straight out of high school, my first job was working in an auto parts warehouse, and I did that while I was, putting together comic sample pages and trying to get stuff going. And every now and again, I'll find myself taping up a box, and it's like 30 years later, and I'm still a warehouse worker. I'm still shipping things. So yeah, I'm not good at that.
No, I don't blame you. That's the thing I like doing the least is shipping artwork, because there's always that concern about it getting damaged, even when you pack it well. It's nice that it's in somebody else's wheelhouse to have to do that. And let's see, Todd, you asked a question about black and white. Everything is colored today, so there are no black and white pieces in the set.
I was hoping to have a greater variety of stuff, but I just wasn't able to get that together in time. I have a bunch of pages from the Harley Quinn stuff I did for DC, which I will be selling, but I didn't have a chance to get that organized for this. And those are mostly done in black and white tone. Mm-hmm. And also I wanted to have a greater variety of smaller pieces. Everything from 100 to, I don't know, 400 or 500 or whatever gray tone pieces, which if we do this again, I would love to have
once we get our feet wet with this one, doing this together, I'd love to do one that's a little different than what we've done here, because I can tell you, by and large, we have 19 published covers, They range in price from $1,800 to up to $4,000. And then we have 5 pieces that I would consider more pinup illustration or illustration, and those range in price from $300 to $3,000. So it is a bit of a wide range, and but hopefully a little bit for everybody. But this is a cover centric art drop of work that hasn't been out before. And somebody did also mention, I will even say this too, as far as Facebook versus YouTube. Facebook has an odd delay. I don't know why they do it. I think there's some legal reason that they want to delay live streams a little bit. And I've always found that YouTube is much more reliable and comes across much better than Facebook as far as a live stream platform. And they're usually a few seconds ahead of Facebook. So that's something to always keep in mind if you are watching on Facebook. And if you want to have the best advantage to see the art on screen before you claim it, YouTube does tend to be the best platform to be on when you want to claim a piece of artwork during one of these shows.
Wow, I never thought about that. I guess someone could do something like this and then commit a murder on screen.
Right. Well, I think I think because of the heat that Facebook's gotten in trouble for some people doing illegal things on live streams, that I think they actually purposefully delay a live stream by 5 to 10 seconds in some cases, just in case something comes up that they need to cut off.
Right.
And YouTube
does something crazy or whatever.
Right. Or YouTube maybe has a better mechanism, so they're able to show it closer to real time, because all the chats people are really seeing us about 3 seconds delayed, even on YouTube. It's just how it works. So there you have it. So why don't we get this thing started? We've been chatting for a little while, and now we can show some artwork for purchase. And again, remember, the email's going to contact@Talent Talk Live, subject Linsner art sale, and in the body of the email, please include the lot number and your name. And as soon as I get pinged by them for a sale, then I'll let everybody know that piece has been claimed, and we'll move on.
Cool. Somebody said my friend George from Astoria, Queens, it's his birthday today. Wow, I haven't talked to George in a long time. I love George.
And he's
George have an email?
Well, now they have your email. They should reach out.
Yeah, my email once again is joelinsner, JoeLinsner @gmail.com.
There you have it. Reach out to Joe.
Reach out to Joe.
All right, so let's get this first artwork on the screen. And I've gone over the logistics and everything, everybody. So as far as all of the do's and don'ts and whatnot for this art drop. So the first artwork, and Joe, when we pull up an artwork, at least let's talk a little bit about what it was for, okay. Some of the anecdotal things about the art, and then once something gets claimed, I'll let everybody know.
Real quick, Nick Barucci just said, "Let's hit the Michael Keaton Batman movie." Huh? What's it? I don't understand the connection, Nick.
You know what it is? When Nick tries to get us more likes in the chat, because it kind of pushes the show out to more people, and he's always got a milestone. So it might be the death of Phoenix is 137, right? So he's looking for numeric milestones to hit.
That was 89.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Nick is my biggest cheerleader for the majority of the shows that we do. He loves everything that we've got going on here, and he's helped me in many, many, many ways. So,
all right, Nick.
Yes, thank you, Nick. All right, so let's get lot number 1 here on the screen, and here it is. It's the cover to Red Sonja Superpowers #1, and the price on this one is $1,800. And this was done in 2020.
Yes.
And was a Dynamite job, I imagine.
Yes, that's a Dynamite cover. Red Sonja, through one crazy twist or another, she meets a bunch of superheroes that I think they're part of Dynamite stable of characters, and I think it was a 6-issue miniseries, and this was the cover for the first one.
Oh, that's a beauty. See, we could have had Nick on here to talk about some of these covers too.
That's true. Yeah, we'll have to draft him into service next time.
So now on this one, where we were talking about the process earlier, because I remember looking at the published version of this. So you did the background work digitally?
Yes, on this one, my high concept was to do Red Sonja the way I do her on the regular Red Sonja covers, where she's more painterly, And then all the superheroes, I did them in more flat tones like you'd see in a regular comic book.
Sure.
And also in the background, I used more of the standard comic book flair that you'd see in either manga or, I always think of the classic Joe Sinnott, flair behind the Jack Kirby character when there's an explosion, all the lines, that kind of thing.
Sure. And I can tell you that lot number 1 has sold, everyone. So we don't announce who picked it up here because even when I'm privy to it, we just let you know that the artwork was claimed. So congratulations to the person who bought it. You will be getting, or probably already have gotten, the reply email from Matthias at Talent Talk, letting you know that you did get that. Anybody who also tried to claim the artwork, if you don't get a reply, then that's how you know that you did not receive it. And yes, I was just told the email was sent. So there you go. We've broken the ice on the first artwork of the day. Fantastic. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate that. So let's go over to the second lot. And this is a little bit different, but another beautiful cover. This is an Invincible Red Sonja number 6 cover, lot number 2.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Red Sonja fights human adversaries as well as monsters and demons. And I think I recently rewatched John Carpenter's The Thing, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. So I wanted to do something whacked out and gross looking. And like I said, they've given me a lot of freedom at Dynamite to just go in weird directions. And this was fun. I had a lot of fun with this.
And I can tell you, lot number 2 has already sold as well, everyone. It's a beauty. It's one of my favorite pieces in here. And I thought that same thing. I was going to ask you if you were channeling the Thing film, because looking at that, that was the first thing I thought about was just something from that flick, but also just a lot of other horror genre thoughts were in my mind, Cthulhu and you name it. But this piece was as in its own weird way, as grotesque as that creature is, it's absolutely beautiful. So you have a way, and I'll tell you, nobody does metal in artwork quite like you do. Like those for Red Sonja's costume. I mean, it feels like metal. Those.
Oh, wow.
It's the truth. A lot of people could just be really, it could be rather casual, show a little bit of the dimension. Heavier ink line on one side. The color that palette that you use, the way that you're taking care of like the idea of there being reflection off of it, so it isn't a flat thing. I mean, your work is. I mean, to me, it's brilliant. And I went to art school. I know the difference between good art and bad art. You just have an approach to the way you do things that I've always been in awe of. So congratulations to the buyer of that one.
Well, with the metal, that's something I'm constantly upgrading my techniques on. I remember when I started, I would make everything high gloss and put high shines on everything, but the more artwork I've done over the years, I'm getting more focused with where the highlight goes, and instead of having gleams on everything, I think if you're more focused with where the light would actually gleam in just like 1 or 2 spots, it's more effective. And I can think of guys. I mean, Alex Ross does fantastic metal.
Oh yeah,
Muse does fantastic metal. So I'm seeing what other guys do, and I'm trying new things on my own. So that's actually a great compliment. Thank you, Bill.
No, my pleasure. And one thing that I didn't think about, and I apologize to everybody, size on these pieces. What's the standard art size for these published covers?
Standard art size is 11 by 17 on 2-ply Bristol board. Some pieces are, the image area is 10.5 by 16 on an 11 by 17 piece of paper. Sometimes I do a little inset. But every piece of paper is usually 11 by 17. Okay.
I mean, that was what I was assuming, but yeah, I should have asked that up front. And so I'll tell you what, if there is anything that isn't on 11 by 17, especially when we get to the unpublished pieces, maybe we state that up front, because I didn't even think to include that on the slides when I was putting them together.
The smaller pieces are usually 11 by 14.
Okay. Fantastic. All right. Well, congratulations to the buyer of lot 2. Let's get the third lot on the screen. And here we go. This is Betty Page number 3 cover. It is also $1,800. So
Yeah, I
tell me
like
a bit about Betty Page, and now because you were talking earlier about likenesses, and you did a pretty good job here.
Thank you, Bill. At this point, gosh, I think I've done either 15 or 20 Betty Page covers, and she's an icon. She's immortal and timeless, and of course, I've been highly inspired by the work that Dave Stevens did and the work that Olivia's done. Those two guys, Olivia and Dave Stevens, I think they've done the most significant Betty Page art. So, I keep that in mind every time I do a Betty Page piece, and I don't want to imitate them, but I want to be able to do Betty Page and capture her, and do a good piece. Add something new to the vast catalog of Betty Page art that's out there.
No, well, like you said, she is an icon, and Dave Stevens' work, right? I mean, that's the standard by which probably every artist is going to be judged, right, on their work. If they're going to be drawing Betty Page, I mean, he's the one we think of first as far as anyone who's drawn her. But no, fantastic likeness, great cover.
Thanks, and I think Dave Stevens actually led the whole Betty Page revival. I don't think she her face was even that connected with her name before Dave Stevens started putting her in the records here.
I think I would probably agree with that. There was a point in time where probably only people who were a little bit older than you and I remembered her. So
yeah, I think diehard pinup aficionados knew who she was, but in terms of her mass appeal right now, I mean, she's like probably the most famous pinup model of all time right now, and I think Dave Stevens really helped with that.
I would agree. And it doesn't look like we have a claim on this one yet. We will show it at the end of the show, as far as like we will with anything that doesn't sell while we're going through these 24 artworks. So we'll keep number 3 out there to show at the end. So let's put the 4th artwork on the screen. And it's another Betty Page cover. This is the cover to issue 4. And it's lot number 4 for $1,800.
Yeah, this is Betty Page, the queen of all pinup art. She's holding her tiara there. Yeah, I like this one.
So direction that you get from the publisher on something like this, or do you get any direction from them? How do you approach a cover like this?
Betty Page was pretty open. The general assignment was just have Betty look sexy and commanding, I guess. So yeah, I had a lot of freedom with the Betty Page covers, and I'd love to do more. Everyone was a joy. Who doesn't love Betty Page?
Exactly. No, well, it's like you said, she's an icon, and sorry, I'm just reading through some of the chats, but
and I see Dan Lawless says that I have a really nice pinup feel. Thank you, Dan. Dan is a fantastic artist. I love everything he's done for Marvel, and I'm a big fan of classic pinup art. I grew up looking at Vargas pinups in my father's Playboys as a kid, and Vargas is still my favorite pinup artist. So that definitely influenced everything I've done. My love of Vargas.
Well, I'm a fan of Dan's as well, and it says the colors are great. And Swan Shadow says Joe's Betty is fantastic. Can't agree with you more, Swan Shadow.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. All right. Well, this one's no claims on that one, so we'll see that one again in the recap. No problem. Let's see. So the 5th artwork. Let's get that one on here for lot 5. This is the cover to Sacred 6, number 1, and it is for $1,800.
Yeah, this was another Dynamite book. And it was nice drawing the variety of girls here.
Now, I'm not familiar with the book, so on this one, were you already familiar with the characters, or how did you go?
I was not familiar with the characters, and in fact, I don't remember their names. I hate to say this, I hate to confess this, but when they were putting together the first issue, they sent me a pile of pages. and a bunch of the character designs. And like a lot of the way publishing works is everything happens at once. So at the same time, something is being penciled, it's being advertised, and they need the cover before the thing's even done. So they quite often they're only able to give the artist, the cover artist, just enough to sink his teeth into. And this was one of those cases where I only had some character sketches and some interior pages. But I still think it came out nice. The one character in the background with the kind of burnt lava skin, she was kind of tough to get a handle on, because in the rough character sketches, I wasn't sure, if it was just crazy lighting or if her skin was supposed to look like burnt lava. But yeah, I think I nailed it.
I think you did as well. And let's see, lots of comments. Everybody loves your work.
Cool, that's appreciated.
Yeah. Some people are saying that they want to wait till the end because they know there's going to be more good art. So that one wasn't claimed as well. And again, that's fine. This is how it goes sometimes, because the work we're really going from low to high on the cover artwork too, as far as the prices go. So they do continue to get more and more enticing, I think, as we work our way through the whole list. So let's see. Now we're skipping lot 6 and going since that one was taken. So lot 7 is the next one that I'm putting up on the screen. And lot 7 is the cover to Elvira number 3, and it is for $2,000.
Elvira's Reign of Frogs. Yeah, I loved doing the Elvira covers. They were a lot of fun. And who doesn't love Elvira? She's also an icon.
Yeah, and it's back to the likenesses again. I mean, you did a fine job here, Joe.
Thank you, Bill. Yeah, Elvira has a very distinctive face. I've seen certain guys just draw like an anonymous pretty face and just give her the distinctive hairdo and the outfit. But with these covers, I actually tried to capture Cassandra Peterson's very distinct. She has a very distinct nose and a very distinct mouth.
All right, and lot 7 has sold, everyone. Just so you know, that was a beauty. And again, you finished this off digitally, so the background was was in color. And maybe what I should do, if we ever do this again, Joe, I probably should have a image of the published piece as well. I mean, I don't have a lot of room in these slides to show the artwork in all its entirety, but it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to also include, even if it's a smaller thumbnail, so people can see what the actual published piece looked like as well.
Yeah, that's true. This one in the background, I just added torrential rain, and every one of those frogs on the original is there, but when I did the final cover, I actually cloned a couple of other frogs in the background, so there are even more frogs. but yeah, this is a good amount of frogs for the original.
I love it. When I first saw that, I thought of Escher. With the frogs, fit them all together. That was the first thought. I mean, I love that. The whole idea. There. So very, very cool. Oh man! All right. Well, congratulations to the buyer of lot 7. You got a good one. So let's go over to lot 8. Lot 8 is the cover to Red Sonja issue 26, and it is $2,000 as well.
Yeah, one of the things I love about Red Sonja is, she can also be a pinup girl. She can't be a pinup girl all the time, but like for me, the definitive Red Sonja artist is Frank Thorne, and his stuff was savage but also beautiful, and that's such a key part of Red Sonja. The schism, the dichotomy of that, that the fact that she's this beautiful girl, and yet she's so tough she'd kick anybody's butt. And
absolutely.
Yeah, some covers with Red Sonja, I've made her more savage. I've done a couple of really intense action shots, which I love. But yeah, this was more of a pinup Red Sonja.
All right, and this one, just so you know, this one has sold as well.
All right.
I think there was probably a bit of interest in this one. It's a great image, and again, everybody remember, when you are actually the first person to email the Talent Talk rep, you will get a reply from them letting you know that you did in fact get the artwork. so that after the show you'll get an invoice. So if you order multiple pieces, they'll combine on shipping, and so all of the invoicing will occur after the show through Talent Talk. So so Joe doesn't have to worry about any of this. This is it frees you up to just focus on selling the artwork and making artwork. So, and I should mention, because I saw somebody came in late, there was a question about the commission. It is a commission opportunity that you're doing the entering for. So I can show you again, to enter in the commission opportunity, it's !enter. It is for a $700 commission, 11 by 14 full color, and one character. And Joe has the right to ask you to pick something else if you are the person selected to get that commission, and we will do that at the end of the show.
Cool. So Nick says, ask me about my love of Conan number 100. Yeah, I love that comic. That's the Queen of the Black Coast, where Belit dies, and Conan fights the forces of hell. That's like one of the all-time best comic books. And one of these days, being as that story is in the public domain, one of these days I want to adapt that. I want to do that in comic book form.
That would be really cool. I mean, honestly, that's one of the. I wasn't a big Conan reader growing up, but I picked up that issue off the newsstands because the cover was so striking, and I mean, how could you not? I mean, it was just a beautiful book. I love the story, so I'm glad that we have that in common.
Yeah, one of my favorites. Totally awesome.
All right, well, let's get so that lot 8. Congratulations to the buyer on that. Let's go over to lot 9 now. And this is the cover to Betty Page. I think it was Curse of the Banshee, number 4. The cover to that.
Yeah, once again, having a lot of fun with Betty. Something that some guys do with Betty Page. Most Americans, when they think of a sexy girl, they think of a very busty girl. And Betty Page was not very busty. Betty Page was very modest on top, but she had a big butt. So every now and again, I'll do a Betty Page cover that, features her healthy posterior.
No, nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
And color choices on this one, I love it. I love the approach to the flowers on there. I mean, everything about it. I mean, it's mirrored in her stockings, so it's a lovely image.
Thanks. Yeah, actually, with this series, on all the covers, I tried to use colors I hadn't used before. That kind of clay-colored gray that the flowers are. I'd never used that as extensively. And that pops up on a couple of the Curse of the Banshee covers.
And you had a question from Stanley about whether you prefer working in color or black and white.
I go back and forth. I love both. When you work in black and white, it's just a matter of contrast. It's easier to establish the depth of field. But with color, you have so many more options. You have the whole rainbow to play with. And I love fantastic color. Some of my favorite artists are people who have very distinctive color palettes. Barry Windsor Smith, one of my favorites. His colors to me are always very distinctive. And Bob Peak, the movie poster artist, his colors are very electric and very distinctive. Brian Stelfreeze, his colors are so electric, and he does things which he'll put orange next to green, next to blue, in such a way that you would think would be garish, but he somehow pulls off this alchemy where it just pops. It's just electric. It's alive. So I don't have a preference. I go back and forth,
Mm-hmm.
So as long as I'm able to keep working, like when I started off doing a black and white comic book, and at the time that was actually very frustrating because I wanted to, play with color. And on Cry for Dawn, that was one of the reasons why we had variant covers so that I could do more color pieces. Just gave me more of a
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And these days, I will get back to there's certain stories I want to do just in black and white, just in gray tones. But yeah, the next creator-owned thing I'm going to be doing is definitely going to be full color. The next Dawn series.
Fantastic. All right, so lot 10, there's two pieces that I would consider not work safe. So if you got little kids around, or your mother and father are there, and you don't want them to see a slightly risque image, this would be one of them. So but it's very tasteful. So but I just wanted to put that out there because I can tell you a lot of the people who watch our shows got the kids watching. They like to see the art. So wanted to throw that out there in advance. This is lot 10, and let's get this one on the screen. This is the cover, number 3 cover to Deja Thoris book, and it's for $2,000, lot 10.
Yeah, I love Deja Thoris. I'm a big fan of the actual John Carter books by Edgar Rice Burroughs. And on the Deja Thoris covers, I actually showed her nipples, but then when I submitted the covers to be printed in Photoshop, I blurred them out. So the original art is uncensored. The published art got censored for the sake of humanity, to protect the nation's youth.
Yeah, I know. When I checked all the published covers just to see it, because I thought, wow, did they publish it like that? And yep, you were right. It was nicely photoshopped out. But no, that's the beauty of owning the original artwork, right? I mean, there's lots of in the process of making artwork, there's so many unique things that kind of pop up when you actually get the original piece, the page in your hands. You see corrections and paste ups and things that you wouldn't normally get to see. And sometimes things like this, where people, they'll do an overlay or like in this case, like you said, blur everything out. So owning the original is is really, to me, it's such a fantastic thing. It's you've got the whole story of the creation process behind it, and in this case, this is the way you intended it to be, and it's beautiful. And I can tell everybody, it has sold.
All right.
Yes, congratulations. So, because I don't think I looked at the other covers that were out there, but no, that was beauty. Someone said the headpiece was very well done.
Oh, thank you. By the way, thank you to everyone who's posting these wonderful compliments. Thank you. I keep trying.
All right, Aranga, an artist as well. So parents, let the kids watch. This could be the awakening for a future Joe Linsner. And it's true. It's very true. And I just wanted to preface that for the people who might get mad at me for showing a risque image on the show. But no, I had a feeling that one was going to go quick, and it did. So congratulations to the buyer of that one. And again, Joe, I mean, your work is amazing, and I'm so happy to be doing this with you. So LC NSN said she had a headpiece. Yeah, yes, she did actually. All right.
Small detail.
Okay, so let's look at lot 11. This is going back to Red Sonja. This is the cover to issue 27, and again, lot 11, and it's $2,500.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. I loved painting the big ogre guy. He. I might like him more than Red Sonja on this cover.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, but that's got to be the fun part. I mean, sometimes you don't need to paint any supplemental characters in it, and in this case, you got to do this guy. And yeah, you're right. I mean, he's kind of grotesque and beaten up, and Red Sonja looks like she had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, she could take him, no problem. Yeah, I was thinking of something of a cross between a cave troll from Lord of the Rings and the Hulk. His face is very Hulk-like.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo.
And this piece did sell, by the way, just to let everybody know.
All right.
Yeah, that's awesome. And again,
that's why it's not for. Somebody said she's holding a knife, so that's why it's not for kids.
Well, that too. See, yeah, you're right. See, it's funny. We can say, slightly risque images are need to be warned, but yeah, blood on weapons and dead ogres are okay. So I know what, but it's just how it is, right? It's but no, fantastic image, and congratulations to the buyer of that one, because again, I really like that one as well. So yeah, Joe, congratulations on that sale. So I just wanted to pull that one back up. I just thought it was unique, even the color, the skin tone, a little bit different, but it plays well with the ogre, right? I mean, if she would have been brighter, or the skin was lighter or something, it might have felt a lot different. But for this piece, it works amazingly well together. So
yeah, thanks. With the being as Red Sonja shows so much skin, I do try to vary her skin tones from cover to cover.
And we're going to see that on this next one, because the next one is lot 12 is another Red Sonja cover. This is the cover to issue 19, and it's lot 12, and it's $2,500.
Yeah, Red Sonja loses her shoulder plate this time, but she wins the day.
Yeah, she's taking home a trophy with this one. And the background's great. I mean, it could be done so simply. I mean, when I was looking at some of this work, and pardon me, I never, suggest, when I see something, I saw this and I thought, like Corbin, the backgrounds you'd see in heavy metal and those sorts of things. I don't know, as a point of, like, if there was somebody who I'd look at this piece and say, wow, I see a lot of that. I mean, Corbin's not a bad person to be compared to.
Corbin is one of my heroes. He was a genius. So I take that as a fantastic compliment.
Oh,
and wasn't it the cover of Epic Illustrated #2 that Corbin did, where there was a girl leaning against a marble column?
Yeah, exactly.
In a fight scene.
This one did sell, just so everybody knows, so you don't have to keep emailing the email address. But you're right, exactly. So, yeah. I'm glad I got to ask that, because I thought that, and it's something I normally would never do. Some artists will be like, I don't like to be compared to anybody. But this is such a beautiful example, and I see it. And Corbin's one of my favorite painters. So, yeah, I mean, such a nice touch. So it's great to see in that piece about the backgrounds, being a part of it, where you didn't, because you could have done that digitally, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, and in that case, what was your decision to not do it digitally?
I wanted the texture of the stone. Which that type of thing works best organically.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've actually done on certain pieces is like, say, with the sky that was added on the background of that, I would just do the simplest doodle of like a cloud, and then blow it up. I would do like the cloud organically on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Smaller, and then just like kind of soften the focus on it, so there's just like a soft, hazy cloud in the background. But everything that I wanted in focus, I wanted to do organically on the original. And I never even thought about the Corbin influence on that, but thinking about that Epic cover, yeah, I guess that was so.
Right. Well, that stuff gets logged back, in there, and no, I mean, I'm not. You didn't ape him at all. It's just, but it's there. It shows. Yeah. It shows in your work. It shows in your. And I know that we don't have any black and white work here, but I've kind of always felt that too. I see it. There's at any rate, yeah. No.
Again, fantastic compliment, because Corbin. Like there are certain guys who you can see where their influences are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, say, if you look at Bill Sienkiewicz, you can see he was inspired by Neil Adams, or things like that. But Richard Corbin, he's like lightning from a clear sky. It's like, I don't know where his influences are so either abstract or diverse. He just is like a total original.
He is. No, without question. And you look at when he was doing that work, there was nobody to compare him to. It was it. And that doesn't happen often, right? I mean, very few times you see an artist hit the scene, and you're just something. And a lot of times, it's like I'll even say it, like Frank Miller. I had a hard time getting into Frank Miller's artwork when I first saw him. I just, it was just so different that it didn't make sense to me. And I've had that happen with a few other people, but I didn't feel that way about Corbin. But it's like an artist whose work is so not mainstream. And Corbin was one of those people. And yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't know who I would cite as an influence for him, because you can't really compare him to anybody.
Yeah.
Oh, Basil Wolverton, Wes Stefan. Yeah, that's you could. Okay, there you go. I guess I could see that.
That's pretty good.
All right. Well, let's keep this show rolling. Moving over to lot 13. And let's get this one on the screen. This is the cover to Elvira, issue number 2, and it is for $2,500. Very playful.
Yeah, I like this one. Sean Clancy asked, how much time do I spend doing these covers? Usually 2 to 3 days. Or in the case of this was like day and a half, I would say.
And medium-wise, what are you using for the color?
This is a combination of alcohol marker, acrylic paint, Prismacolor pencils, and occasional bits of airbrush. I don't think this has any airbrush on it, but actually this might have a slight touch of airbrush on some of the highlights, like on her chest, or maybe on the angel's wing. But yeah, it's marker, pencil, airbrush, and acrylic paint.
Interesting. Yeah, so I mean, wow. So it is quite involved. It's not you're not just sitting down with pen and ink and then coming in with watercolor or something. You know, it's very thoughtful, I'm sure, at each pass that you have to do.
Yeah, and it's something I've evolved over the years. And like I said earlier, for me, the final piece of art is the printed piece of art. So if something doesn't scan properly, then like I've experimented with certain things that look great on the original, but they can't scan. And I remember doing something with back in the early 90s, doing something with gold paint, which looks really cool on the original, but if you scan gold paint, it just comes out as this like mustard color. It does not come out like gold. So yeah, I've ironed out a lot of that, you know, the stuff that doesn't work, and the things I do use, they work on a couple of different scales. I've been very lucky. My work blows up very well. For different conventions, I've had, you know, pieces that are done like 17 inches high. I've had them blown up to like 6 foot tall, and the detail, it doesn't come apart. It still holds together, which is pretty cool. It's actually really nice seeing things blown up that big.
Sure. Let's see. There was a question from Albert, and he's asked which part of the character is a first pencil stroke. I mean, I assume you must do roughs and prelims for these sorts of things, right?
Yeah. I usually start with the head. Yeah. I think there are 2 different schools of thought. Some people think you should start with the pelvis or the torso. I always start with the head. I always start. The first thing I do is I draw an oval, and I draw a center line where the nose goes, and then from there the spine, and flesh everything out from there. And I try to do things, try to get a good gesture drawing, which I've seen people draw very carefully, but my initial sketch is always very sloppy, very rough. Again, just to get the gesture, just to get the feeling.
Sure.
And then I'll tighten that up, and then add, the anatomical details and basically put the meat on the bones, more or less. My favorite art book of all time, or my favorite how-to book, I should say, is How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. And in there, John Buscema talks about that same technique, just like scribbling out, a figure, and then you go in and you put the muscles on it and you add the details after you get the dynamics down.
Sure. That, for me, that was always my go-to, and then the Hogarth books were always were my second, right?
Yeah, and Andrew Loomis.
Yeah, very true. All right, well, that one didn't get claimed, and we'll show that at the end of the show as well. So let's move over to lot 14. And lot 14 is $2,500. This is Deja Thoris versus John Carter, number 4 cover.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I love these characters. And the title of the series is Deja Thoris versus John Carter. So they had a little spat and they were fighting on the first couple of covers, but here's where they kiss and make up. So I'm a big fan of grand romantic gestures, and I love the romance.
So the series was over at this point, right? They made up, and Issue 4 was it?
Actually, I think there are 2 more issues. I think they fight for the first couple issues, and then they kiss and make up, and then the last 2 issues they fight the bad guys together.
Oh, that makes sense. They made up, and then they took care of business after that.
Yeah. So somebody asked if I own any artwork by some of my favorite artists, and I do, actually. I own a couple of pieces, nothing grand, but I have a really nice pencil sketch by Frank Frazetta, which
Nice.
is reprinted in one of the Frazetta art books. It's a beautiful back shot of a Frazetta girl. I own one of Barry Smith's preliminary pencils for Pandora, which saw print in Shelf Stuff, his book of doodles and preliminary work. I own one of my favorite Michael Golden pieces. Michael Golden for Epic Illustrated. There was an article on role-playing games, and he illustrated these 6 fantasy characters, 3 science fiction characters and 3 fantasy characters. And when I was a kid, I just loved this piece of art, and I had a Xerox of it hanging on my wall. I Xeroxed it out of the comic book, out of the Epic Illustrated, and I loved it. And at some convention, I saw Albert Moy had it, and it was one of those, like, the clouds parted, and like, oh my God! And yeah, I was able to get it, and that hangs in my home. I love that piece of art.
Wow. Yeah, I've actually never owned anything by Michael, but I'd love to. And something like that, I did a lot of role play gaming and with D&D and whatnot, and that's like a sweet spot for me too. I love if there's not a lot on the market, but whenever I see it, I always check, is it something I remember? Because I'd buy it in a heartbeat. I love all those little spot illustrations that accompany those games. So yep, I totally get that desire. And I didn't know Golden did any work in that field.
Well, it was actually just for an article on role-playing games.
Oh, it's an art. Okay.
Yeah, it was an article in Epic Illustrated, and yeah, that was probably from like 81 or 82. And yeah, the illustration is done in gray tones, which is kind of unusual for Michael Golden.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fantastic. Michael Golden has one of the best design senses out of anybody ever, even outside of comic books. I don't know why the movie industry hasn't, swooped down on him. He's another guy who I think his drawing style and his design sense, it's like I can't see who inspired him. He's like just his own creature, and he's a super sweet guy too. But yeah, these 6 characters, his designs are so fantastic.
Well, you know what? Send me a scan. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I will.
All right. So that one didn't sell, a lot 14. So we will move over to lot 15. And this is a nice one. This is the cover to Vampirella Dynamite, #1. And it is $3,000 for the lot 15.
Yeah, this one, there's a funny story with this one. The assignment was just to draw Vampirella looking great, but she had to be bald because in the series she loses her hair. So on the actual cover, I think they printed 2 different versions, one of her bald and one with the hair. And I painted it, scanned it with her bald, and then I had to go in there and paint the hair on there because I don't have too much of a love for bald women. Some people do, but I like long flowing hair. And
I thought you were going to say there was going to be one of the alternative covers had her with hair, but no.
Yeah, I think they published both versions, the bald and the hair.
They did. Okay.
I think so.
And I can tell you that this one has sold.
All right.
Congratulations to the buyer on that one. And it's funny. I think when I Googled this one so I could find the published cover, she was bald, and I saw the other covers, it was the same, and it was just shocking to see Vampirella with no hair. I mean, that is just not what you expect to see. I'm like, is that like, what was it, Moon Dragon, or I forget the Marvel character that had no hair, but it just threw me when I saw that. So
it's like something that's funny that there are 10 million movies and comic books and whatever where all these guys are beating each other up, but no one ever loses a tooth. No one ever loses a front tooth.
Right.
Like what if Clint Eastwood had to go through a movie like some guy punches out his front teeth?
Right. Well, I bet you some of the villains lost their teeth, but the hero, the main characters,
Yeah.
they never need any denture work or any detail work done after the show.
But poor Vampirella, I don't know how she lost her hair, but boom, she's got the Mr. Clean look going on.
Yes, she does. All right. Well, congratulations to the buyer on that one. That one's a beauty, and it's definitely gonna make somebody happy when they get that in their hands. So let's go over to lot.
Somebody pointed out Persis Kambata from the first Star Trek movie. She would actually make a really good Vampirella. She's passed away, but she had a beautiful face. She would make a great Vampirella. Once upon a time.
I completely agree with you on that one. Oh yeah, there you go. Star Trek. I see it. All right. So all right, let's get on to the next artwork here, and that will be lot 16. And this is for $3,000. This is the cover to Betty Page, Curse of the Banshee #1. Great likeness on this one.
I'm very proud of this one. I think this is one of my best Betty Page pieces. Yeah, I really like her pose, and likenesses are so strange. It really comes down to millimeters, whether something works or not. And with this one, everything just came together, and I think it really captures Betty. And when Betty Page was a fantastic model, and the difference between just a pretty girl and a model knows how to project. If you've ever watched the TV show America's Top Model, I've never watched a lot of it, but on there you'll see the difference between a girl who's just pretty versus someone who can project and really make love to the camera. And Betty Page could do that. Betty Page could project. She could sink into a photographer's vision and just give something more. So these girls who become millionaires as models, they earn it. The really good ones, they earn it. They actually, there's some kind of alchemy, there's some kind of magic there. And Betty Page had that. Betty Page was a fantastic model.
Yep, I agree. As to many people in the chat, I love this piece. And so there was a question from Dominic, and no claim on this one yet. So I think we'll be seeing this one at the end of the show when we review the pieces that didn't sell. Dominic had a question: is there a piece you ever regret having done that you could have done differently? I mean, it's probably like every artist has to have some pieces that get done that you look back on and you think you could have done differently.
Sure. There are one of the problems with publishing is things have to get done yesterday, and it has to go off to print, and ideally I'd be able to sit with the piece for a couple of months because there are certain ridiculous errors that you don't notice at first, and then the thing comes back from the printer like, oh my god, how could I do that? And I've never done anything as ridiculous as give a character 6 fingers. I think Alberto Vargas did that more than once. He gave a pinup girl 6 fingers.
Yes.
And he in the 40s, Vargas, when he was working for Esquire, he was working at a crazy pace, and things just had to go out the door. So, 6 fingers. I know Kirby. He's got a couple of Mr. Fantastic drawings where his arm is stretching out, and he actually has 2 right hands. Like little mistakes like that. Mm-hmm. So I could probably go through everything I've ever published and point out, why did I do that? Why did I do that? Why did I do that? And Frazetta, he was famous for repainting his art once he got it back from the printer. And I've done the same thing. You sit with a while, and like with Frazetta, his famous The Barbarian piece, Conan sitting there or standing there on a pile of bodies. If you look at the original paperback versus the image that has gone on to be posters and the world now knows, he totally repainted Conan's head. Conan had this, his head was a little too crouched on his body. And I think Frazetta got it back from the printer and said, oh, geez, how could I do that? What a dumb mistake. And he just repainted the exact same head and just moved it up.
Right.
And if he had Photoshop, he would have been able to do that in 15 seconds. But he, painted over the head and then just moved his head up.
Yeah, there were a lot of people lament some of the paintings he painted over, right? I mean, that was really common for him once he got them back. And like you said, he didn't sell them. So he didn't have a problem with going back and tweaking them after they were published. And, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, it's the artist's artwork. If they don't want, if they want to make it better or make it more like they wanted it, then sure, corrections later are perfectly fine.
Yeah, and actually, I think with Frazetta, he has a painting called Wild Ride, which is a naked girl
Mm-hmm.
from the back riding a horse.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think the first version of that is the best. He kept messing with it and redoing the figure, and I think he took a wrong turn at Albuquerque with that one.
Right. Well, there are, yeah. I mean, that's come up a lot of times. If people much prefer the original to where he ended up with it. But you can't argue with the creator at the end of the day, right? I mean, that's
yeah.
Yep.
And it's like people who all the people who would bust on George Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, they're his movies to play with, and the whole concept of the people versus George Lucas. It's like, come on, Star Wars is his thing. It doesn't belong to the people; it belongs to him.
Right. All right. Well, we've got a few more covers here. I believe 4 more to show. And so the next one is going to be Lot 17. And it is the cover to Red Sonja issue 23. And it is $3,000. Lots of good extra figure work in this one.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with these guys. I love the Jester. The dead fool. What stupid thing did he say to Red Sonja where she whacked off his head?
Right. It wasn't very funny.
Who's laughing now?
Exactly. But these things write themselves, Joe.
And, Frazetta is one of my heroes. And Frazetta has a lot of pieces where there are certain funny things going on. And I don't think enough people give Frazetta credit for being funny. He's got this one painting, which was a cover for a Warren magazine. I think it's called Savage World. And it's a landscape panoramic painting of these cavemen coming towards the viewer. And in the background, there are these Tyrannosauruses, these 2 T-Rexes. And also on the other side of the background, there's a pterodactyl swooping down and picking up one of the cavemen. And it looks like the T-Rexes are laughing at this. It's like one of my favorite Frazetta paintings. The T-Rex is like, stupid humans. As this T-Rex makes off with his lunch. So
I'm gonna have to go back and look at that because I don't think I saw the humor in that one, but I can picture it. I'm gonna have to go back and check that one out.
So yeah, I was definitely having fun with the with the Jester on this one.
Daryl's wondering what was the last thing that went through. Yeah, he wishes he could have a do-over.
I should have known better.
Right, exactly. Yeah, didn't like my jokes, but no, this is a beauty, and and again, it's back to the I just love the characters in the foreground being a different tone, all together, and just an absolutely beautiful cover. Even the blood spatters on Red Sonja. It's somebody else's blood by and large, I'm sure.
Yeah, and then tried to make her a little beat up. Tried to make her hair sweaty. That you figure, you work up a sweat killing people. Yeah, little details like that have been, her bandages. God, I imagine if you're on a battlefield, you must get a million little scrapes and bruises. It's got to be brutal.
Yeah. Well, she's got a few battle scars, it looks like. And I can tell you that just now I got confirmation that this Lot 17 has sold.
All right. And Nick Brucci loves the Jester head. Nick, I was going to draw your head, but. That would be funny. He'd like to probably get his head on a cover, on a pike would be good. And I will confess that for Dynamite, I done a Lady Rawhide cover, who was a female character in the world of Zorro. And in the background is the saloon, and I wrote Nick's as the name of the saloon. So you're in there, Nick.
Very, very nice. And Nick and I are talking about getting me on a cover for something special coming up too. So it should be interesting. I don't know who's going to do the work, but maybe we should be talking to you, Joe. So we'll see. We'll see, because there's something special he and I've been chatting about. So
okay.
that would be pretty cool. So again, congratulations to the buyer of Lot 17. It's a beautiful cover. I'm very envious. So I'm sure it's going to be a trophy in your collection. So let's get over to the let's see, final 3 covers in the show today. This first one is Lot 18, and it's for $3,500. It is the cover to issue number 1 of Vampirella Purgatory. And once again, Joe, I'd say, I like the fact that, the background character, is flat tone. It just makes the main character stand out so well, in this image.
Thanks. Yeah, with this, actually wanted to capture a kind of a neon glow around Vampirella.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah, well, definitely. And the pale skin, Yeah,
Vampirella, she is fantastic to draw because she's a vampire, so you can go super pale. And her outfit, the black, the red, and the white of her collar, it's just such a brilliantly designed outfit. Being able to play with that and throw purples in there and various other gray tones. Yeah, on the actual printed cover, I think the background is all red or fiery red and different oranges. And Purgatory, being a demon, wanted to make her look hellish. And then Vampirella wanted her to pop forward. Yeah, something I'm always playing with is the contrast between, the foreground pushing forward and the background receding. And the person earlier asked me about, do I like color or black and white more? And, in color, warm colors, red colors, the red spectrum, they tend to advance more, and then cool colors tend to recede. And so that's something I'm always playing with. And also the color values. If something, like if you look at a mountain range in the distance, the blacks disappear. Whereas if you look at a tree right in front of you, all the shadows have crisp blacks. So that's another thing I'm always playing with, pulling the blacks out of things in the distance and adding darker, deeper shadows on the foreground. This
one has sold, by the way.
All right.
Congratulations to the buyer of Lot 18. And I get it. I mean, I totally get what the idea of like softening things the further they are in the picture, as far as perspective goes. It makes perfect sense. I mean, you're verging on like photorealism, right? And you have that luxury because it's in color really versus doing it. I guess you could do it in black and white, right? You could just kind of like soften the tones and everything.
Sure. And there are guys like Bernie Wrightson who was a genius with doing it in pen and ink.
Sure.
I mean, the fantastic depth that he was able to achieve in pen and ink, and like for me, it's still a work in progress. I like to think that every new piece I do, I'm still learning something.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, so often something comes back from the printer and I'm like, oh my God, how could I do something so stupid? So, I've seen certain other artists who I won't name who, like, it seems like they get to a certain point and then they plateau.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, how, do you just turn off your brain? How do you plateau? Does it just become a job? Are you just going through the motions, assembling ball bearings? And I pray that that'll never happen to me. And I keep my interest in the art, and I keep my interest and my desire to keep growing. So far, so good.
Exactly. And I did get a change on something here. Nothing too terrible, but Lot 17 had sold. It was not Lot 17 that sold. It was Lot 16 that sold. So I just want to show those on the screen so everybody knows which ones we're talking about. So Lot 16 was the Betty Page. And so that is the one that has sold. And Lot 17, the Red Sonja 23 cover, is not sold. So apologies for that. I'm not sure where the mix-up might have happened. But again, please be sure when you do email the Talent Talk address that you put the lot number in the body of the email, so everybody's very clear which lot you're claiming, because as we've said, you can go back and claim lots that don't sell while we're going through this initial process. So again, 17 is still available, the Red Sonja cover, and Lot 18, as we've talked about, has sold. So we got 2 more covers to go, and they are both Batman covers. So let's get the first one on here, and I believe this was a comic shop variant cover, and this is Lot 19. It's for $3,500. This is the cover to Next Batman. So tell me a little bit about this and the process of working with DC to do a variant comic shop cover.
Yeah, I've done a couple of variant covers for comic shop exclusives for both Marvel and DC, and they both like to keep the retailer away from the artist. And I asked the guy at Marvel why they like to do that, and they said they get stupid requests. Like this one guy wanted to know if he could have, can I have a Spider-Man cover where he's got a machine gun? And so to keep things from like that happening, there's just like, no, we'll take care. We'll do the communication in the middle. And so I did this cover for DC, and in putting this whole project together, I don't know if this is seen print yet. I know the book came out, and I got paid for it. But I guess I've been working at such a furious pace over the past year or two. I sent it in, and the way things usually work is you send something in, and then, a couple of months later, you'll get your comp copies. And I guess I didn't get my comp copies of this yet. And I'm not even sure if it's seen print.
But it was done as a work for hire through DC,
yes.
And explained as a variant cover or a comic shop variant cover, which is very commonplace these days.
Yeah, and I love Batman. I could draw Batman all day long. And somebody asked, if there's any characters that I haven't had a chance to paint yet. And I want to do a Batman story one of these days. DC has the Batman Black and White anthology. I would love to do a story for that. I think that would make me walk on air. I would bring everything in my power to that story. That would be a dream come true.
Well, you said at the start of this that Batman is your favorite character, so you know it, right? I mean, that'd be your chance in a lifetime, right? To do something like that. That I hope that happens, Joe.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'd ever be able to do a full series or a full graphic novel, because I have so many other of my own projects that I want to get to before I die. And the clock is ticking. So if I just did a Batman 8-page story, I would be in heaven.
Well, everyone out there would be picking it up because it would be brilliant. I know it. So that one has not been claimed yet. So we'll show that we've got one more cover to show. And as I mentioned, this one is a Batman cover as well. This is lot number 20. It's for $4,000. This is the cover, number one cover to Batman Dark Knights. And tell us a little bit about this one, Joe, because this one's, this is a work of art here. It's beautiful.
Oh, thanks. This was a lot of fun. In the series, there's a whole bunch of different variant Batmans, and there's a Cthulhu Batman. When they sent me the reference for that, I died laughing. It's like, okay, Cthulhu Batman, let's go to town. So yeah, I love doing this cover. This was an awful lot of fun. Cthulhu Batman.
Yeah, no, that would be. I'm a big Cthulhu fan, but I would never have thought Cthulhu Batman would ever see print, and yet here we have it. Now, in this one, and so what's different about the last two pieces too is the full. This is you didn't do anything digital on these. It's a fully finished piece. So again, what was your thinking on that? Going into this particular piece, you just felt doing them in a traditional manner was going to give you the best results for what you're going for.
Yeah, this it was two things. I had a little more time with this cover. I think they gave me a full month window of getting it done, and Batman. I just really wanted to bring my A game to Batman and do a home run piece. And what I was saying earlier about depth of field, I really wanted to, play with the depth of field on this. Batman, the main figure in the foreground, he's the guy with the solid blacks, and then Cthulhu, he's softer. No solid blacks on him.
Right. I love that approach, Joe. I really do.
Yeah, thanks. These are the things that I keep working on. Keep try to get a better handle on, I guess.
And I did just get texted that lot 19 the prior Batman piece has sold.
All right.
That was for $3,500, and I guess we haven't got a claim on this one yet, so we can move on. This one will still be out there, and we'll see it in the recap when we get to that, just to show off the final any of the pieces that didn't sell going through the first pass. So the next 5 pieces are more. Well, I think the first. Well, what I know one of the pieces saw print, but you'll be able to let me know which one did of these 5 pieces, and these are more illustration pieces, and I will get the first piece on the screen. And let's see, here we go. This is lot 21. It's for $300, and it's an illustration of Killraven.
Yeah, Killraven. I did a Killraven one-shot for Marvel Knights back in 2001. And yeah, I love the character. I've loved him ever since I was a kid in the 70s. And a couple of years ago, for, God, was it Roy Thomas's 80th birthday or 70th birthday? Or maybe 75th birthday? Some significant birthday. The guys at Tomorrow's were putting together this fantastic jam piece where they got different artists to contribute portraits of the different characters that Roy Thomas was responsible for. And I got to do 2. I did Red Sonja and I did Killraven, because Roy Thomas had introduced both those characters. And yeah, I sold the Red Sonja a couple of years ago. And yeah, this is the Killraven. In the big panoramic jam piece, the background isn't there. I added the background, the Martians and the moons. But yeah, this is a cool piece.
Very nice, and it has been it's sold as well. So congratulations to you and the buyer. It's a nice one. All right, so let's go to the only. Well, wait, see. Well, oh wait, that's not. I'm not to that one yet. Let's get to lot 22. This is a Conan illustration, really nice, and it's for $500. And this is like typical of a lot of the pieces that I see on CAF that that people have picked up at cons or maybe after con commission type things. So this is really nice.
Yeah, I love Conan. I've been reading Conan since probably since I was like 6 or 7 years old, and yeah, I was lucky enough to do over 20 different Conan covers for Dark Horse, and had a blast doing them. So Conan is near and dear to my heart. One of my goals right now is to do more Conan covers for Marvel. I just haven't had a chance to make the proper editorial connections. So if anybody in Marvel is listening right now, I'm available for Conan covers. Yeah, Conan is also someone who I draw for fun. I just love him so much.
Well, you were definitely meant, to do Conan, Red Sonja. I mean, the perfect. And Christina also mentions that it was for the Roy Thomas 75th.
Thank you, Christina. See, I told you she's far more on it than I am. I'd be lost right now without it.
Yeah, well, our better halves usually are. You can't live without them. Same thing for me. We wouldn't have Comic Art Fans today if it was not for my wife Maureen, because she is the lead programmer and she does all the heavy lifting. I come up with the nice ideas and she makes them happen.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Oh, that makes you guys a fantastic team.
Yeah, we have managed to work from home for the last 20 plus years together, and still happily married as we were 26 years ago. So,
wow. Yeah, very nice.
Works out. All right, so let's get to lot 23. Now, this is the only Dawn illustration that we're going to see as part of this. This is lot 23, as I said, and it is for $700. And I can let everybody know, too, that lot 22 has sold.
Very nice. Yeah, Dawn. Dawn is my baby. And, yeah, I've been chomping at the bit to get to work on the next Dawn series. I mean, like, there's the pre-work and then there's the serious work. The pre-work is the doing the writing and the layout, and I've got most of that done for the next Dawn series. It's just a matter of, it's almost like with a film, there's the pre-production work and then there's principal photography. when I roll up my sleeves and start drawing the actual comic book, that's the principal photography. That's when it's like, okay, I can't do anything else. I'm working on Dawn, and I'll work.
This one has sold, by the way, just so before we can stop anybody sending emails out. This one sold very quickly.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, I love this one. My girl.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's. I had a feeling that one was going to go quick. That was probably the fastest text I've gotten from putting it out for. So congratulations to the buyer. And like you said, it's your baby, right? I mean, that's you probably put just a little extra care when you're working on Dawn. So
yeah, and Dawn, she's tailored for my own tastes, my own interests, and so the
Sure.
Dawn comic books, they have a certain touch of, there's a touch of Killraven in there, there's a touch of Road Warrior in there, there's a touch of Conan in there, Excalibur, Clash of the Titans, all the things that I grew up loving, I was able to pour into Dawn. And
Yeah.
I love playing with other people's characters, like say Red Sonja or Conan, but it's been too long since I've done a Dawn comic. I got to get back to my my girl.
All right. Well, we're all looking forward to that. All right. So we got 2 more pieces to go. Lot 24 is on the screen. This is a Wonder Woman illustration, and the price on this one is $750. I assume this is the Wonder Woman you were talking about earlier that you just did or recently did. Yep.
Yes. Yeah, I love Wonder Woman. I grew up with the Linda Carter version of Wonder Woman, and just like Christopher Reeve, that image of Linda Carter as Wonder Woman, that is what stuck in my head. And I wasn't, I've never actually tried to draw Linda Carter, but her basic aura, her basic feel is what that's what I think of as Wonder Woman. And Linda Carter is such an amazing human because, even in her advanced age right now, she looks beautiful. She's fantastic. So I imagine just like, Princess Diana, she would, be immortal.
Well, this one has been sold as well very quickly. Congratulations to the buyer on that. Maki Pupu, how do you know if you made a successful claim via the email? You will get a reply within a minute letting you know that you did win the artwork. So if you don't get a reply, then you unfortunately did not get the artwork. And I apologize. I probably should have been stating that kind of all along. We stated it at the beginning, but yeah, that's how we're working it. The first email that the Talent Talk rep gets, they reply to let them know that they've got the artwork immediately, so that the buyer knows that they picked up that piece. So we've got one more piece of artwork to show before we go quickly through the recap of the pieces that didn't. And this one is a little not work safe, but I think it's absolutely beautiful. And I have the pleasure of showing lot 25. This is I think the art title was Lilac Dream. This is for $3,000. And tell us a bit about this one, Joe.
This was a pinup piece painted for the sheer love of it. This saw print in my first art book, The Art of Joseph Michael Linsner. And I'm very proud of this one. I've kept it for, it's almost 20 years. Is it 20 years old? I think it is 20 years old. Yeah. Experimenting with softness, with, a greater, or I should say, not as extreme contrast. Usually my figures almost have a spotlight on them, and wanted her to be more delicate.
Yeah, the lighting and everything. I mean, you can, for a piece that's 21 years old, I mean, it's just phenomenal. And again, that softness, the sense of depth. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful piece, Joe.
Thanks. And I will say, certain pieces don't scan very well. The original has a lot more impact. Getting this to scan properly took some work. But whoever, if someone does end up with the original, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with how lush the original is. When I very first time I went to the Frank Frazetta Museum, I was blown away. Nothing has ever captured the power of his originals. Frank Frazetta's originals almost look like they're painted with fluorescent paint. just the contrast in the color. They literally leap off the canvas. And yeah, this piece, the scan looks really good, but it doesn't have the same oomph as the original.
Well, I mean, I can see why this would be a challenge to scan. I mean, it's like you said, just because of the tonal quality of it. I can't see how you might have to go back in and finesse a little bit of it, right, to get it to actually scan properly.
Yeah,
and I can tell you this lot did sell. I just got confirmation on that.
Very nice. What's funny? I'll see pieces by someone like Bruce Timm, who I love Bruce Timm's work, and I know he works organically. He doesn't do anything in Photoshop, but occasionally I'll see a piece of his see print where the blacks won't be as solid as they could be, and in Photoshop, if you just play with the color balance just a little bit, you can make the blacks pop. And with every piece I send out the door these days, I got to spend at least a little time with it, making the scan look as good as the original. Because I remember in the old days before I had a computer, back when I had to send all the originals literally off to the printer, there are subtle things like say the white values would be just a little too dark, or the blacks would be a little too light. And with Photoshop, it's amazing the things you can do. I know Richard Corbin, he evolved that whole insane method of hand separating his originals. I've read numerous articles about how he did his color pages, and it was completely insane. He had a fantastic mind where he could do these fantastic color pages and do hand separations, which is like the most insane thing ever. And he was doing that just to get pure whites and pure blacks and to get the color balance properly.
Sure. Well, I mean, that's it's an art unto itself. And you're right, Photoshop allows you to easily darken or lighten sections. So, I mean, so you can get the best representative work. And that's something that takes time, right? I mean, you have to actually see your work get published before you know how you might need to finesse that final image that you send to the publisher. I mean, it takes a lot of, you got to see it a few times and you'll be like, damn, that didn't come out at all like I was expecting. And you have to, I'm sure that's happened a lot.
It's a constant trial and error. And still on every cover I send out, there's always some element I'm like, excited to see how it comes out in print. Like, okay, did this work? Did this not work? And I've been getting lucky lately, knock on wood.
Yeah, no, well, I think it's a little bit more than luck, Joe. But before we do, there's 8 pieces that didn't sell. But I think this is probably a good time to pick the winner of the commission opportunity. So if anybody didn't want to hang out for seeing the 8 remaining pieces, so I am going through the process of selecting the winner, and the person who won it is Matt James. So congratulations to Matt. So what I'd like you to do, Matt, is please email email contact@talenttalklive.com so they have your contact information, and they will put you in touch with Joe so that we can arrange the commission out for you, get your mailing information, get the payment stuff squared away. So congratulations, and apologies to anybody early on what wasn't really clear. I'll do a better job the next time I have commission opportunities here on the show, but it did go as planned. I appreciate it, everybody. So let's take a look at those, the 8 artworks that didn't sell, and anybody can claim those just like we've done throughout the whole process, sending an email to contact@talenttalklive.com. So the first piece was lot number 3, and that was the Betty Page number 3 cover. That was at $1,800. So that one's still available, and if you want it, shoot the email over to contact@talenttalklive.com. And again, your name and lot number with the email is appreciated. Then the next lot that didn't sell was lot 4, $1,800 as well, and another Betty Page cover. This was the cover to issue 4. So lot 4, $1,800. And let's see, lot 5 also did not sell. This was the cover to Sacred 6 number 1. And again, you got the contact information here on the screen. Lot number 5, $1,800. Next up was lot number 9, actually. And I thought this one would go. This is the Betty Page Curse of the Banshee number 4 cover for $2,000, lot 9. Absolutely beautiful, Joe. I mean, again, this is great likeness, great image, great assets, I guess. But it's still out there at $2,000 for anyone who'd like to pick up lot number 9. And let's see, next up is lot 13. This one was for $2,500. This was the cover to Elvira number 2. And we talked a bit about the different mediums used on this one. So that was, and like most things of yours, there's always a bit of mixed media in a lot of them. And let's see, lot 14 would be the next one. This was the Deja Thoris versus John Carter number 4 cover. This was the makeup issue. And it's for $2,500 for lot 14.
By the way, someone is asking if my email is joelinsner@gmail.com, and yes, it is.
Oh, very good. Yep, unboxing treasures. Very good. Sorry about that. I'm actually not watching the chat while I'm running just through the slides, so I appreciate that, Joe. Thanks. All right, so after 14, there were 2 other pieces that didn't sell. Lot 17. This was the cover to Red Sonja 23 for $3,000. And and I can tell you right now, lot 14 just sold.
Very nice.
Yes, absolutely. That was, let me show that one off again too. That was this one here, the Deja Thoris versus John Carter cover. Congratulations to the buyer. And so again, lot 17 is still out there as well. And the final piece that did not sell today is lot 20. This was for $4,000, the cover to Batman Dark Knights number 1. And again, probably the most finished piece. Well, I guess compare that to lot 19 or lot 25, that older piece, but one that is completely edge to edge on the paper, and really beautiful piece. And I'm surprised it didn't go, but it's out there. Joe, you'll have it to take to a future show in 2021.
Yes,
but,
2022.
Yeah. Oh, 20. I'm sorry, 2022. See, I'm in a time warp. I'm still stuck in 2020 when COVID started. But hey, everything went really well, and I just want to thank everybody. So just to kind of cover what's going to happen next is anybody who claimed an artwork that got emailed back from Talent Talk. If you claimed more than one, or if you only claimed one, you'll get an email with an invoice for the pieces, and there is no time payments on those, so you'll need to cover the full cost with shipping. And I'm sure that they're going to be asking you for your mailing address, so that they know you if you're international or if you're in the continental U.S., so that they can put the invoice together properly. So Matthias from Talent Talk will be in touch with everyone. So Joe, things really went well today. I'm glad that we did this. I'm glad that as far as doing this with Talent Talk, I'm so happy that you were the first person that I got to do this with.
This has been great. This has been.
I hope we get to do it again too. I mean, I think it's great to have all the covers. I love your storytelling too. So I mean, if we ever get to do some interior pieces that you might have out there, or even some of these lesser pieces that the illustration pieces. I mean, at the end of the day, we try to cater to everybody. At the dollar range, not everybody can afford a cover.
Sure.
So yeah, if we ever did it again, mixing it up a little bit. Oh, and I can tell you lot 4 just sold too. So wow, that's great. I think we only have 6 pieces of the 24 that didn't sell. That's a great ratio. I think it's 75%. So all right.
Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you for appreciating my art. I keep trying, and I've always said the thing any artist, whether you're a singer, songwriter, sculptor, dancer, whatever. All anybody wants is an audience, and thank you guys for supporting me. This has been great, and I always say that if you guys keep showing an interest, I'll keep doing my all.
Glad to hear it. No, hey Joe, again, that's like I said, I know how much everybody appreciates you, your talent, and your personality, and you are the most approachable guy in comics. That's I've always felt that way, and it's so nice to be able to help you out with this and be a part of it. And anything that I can ever do for you in the future, please let me know. I mean, I know you kind of interact with CAF a bit. I mean, we've got the Comic Art live shows. If you ever wanted to participate in those, let me know. And again, and thank you everybody for tuning in. We had a really nice turnout. I think we hit about 150 people were watching the show live. So that's really good for an art drop. And again, I can't thank you all enough. And we'll be doing these again sometime too.
So thank you, Bill, for the invite, and thank you, Jim McLaughlin, for the invite, and thank you, Matthias, for being the man behind the scenes, helping pull the strings.
Exactly. So any issues with anything, everybody can please, you can shoot me an email, but probably start with Talent Talk as far as just finalizing the purchases. And again, thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's been a lot of fun.